was a baby that I got when the pandemic started, and he had a broken arm. He was found by someone about an hour away, and they tried for several days to find a closer wildlife rehabilitator, but nobody would take him because everyone was full, and it was just really difficult during the pandemic. So I'd bring him home. I didn't know if he was ever going to be able to use that arm again or heal. We did physical therapy and some exercises, and so eventually he actually healed up enough where he could be released. And so we would do play therapy and like jumping therapy just to make sure that he could maneuver in the wild. And so he was actually released in the summer of 2020. He was basically the dominant squirrel of the yard, the squirrel bouncer. He would always make sure that he got his nuts first and no one else could have one until he left. He liked to pick his own nuts out of the bucket. I have this big bin of nuts in the backyard, and so I would open it up and he would go in there and just dig through until he found the perfect nut. And then, of course, he would chase everyone else away. I think he thought he was the king of the yard. I was very, very attached to Jeremy because I had raised him as a single baby. He was just like my special boy. But he lived in the neighborhood. He was independent. He did not live in my yard, so I would actually get up at 6 in the morning every day and go walking around the neighborhood to find him. But when he would hear my voice, he would come out and find me, and so I would bring him treats wherever he was and go on my daily walks to find Jeremy. And eventually he did start coming home every day, so he would show up every morning to get fed with all the other squirrels. But he was very accident prone, so that fall he actually ended up breaking his pelvis, and I found him kind of dragging around on the ground. I was able to get him back home and bring him into rehab again. So he spent another month in rehab with me before he was all healed up and then released again. Then he broke his arm the following spring, his other arm. He was back in rehab with me again. And then another year went by, and in the spring when he turned 2 years old, he broke his arm for a third time. This time it was the original arm that he had broken as a baby. So he was back in rehab with me again. But I think all the times that he was with me, we just had a really strong bond. He would be really cuddly with me and still let me pet him, and just really, really sweet. Everybody loved Jeremy. Unfortunately, something went wrong. He was acting a little bit strange one day, and then he disappeared for a few days, and then he came back again, and he wouldn't let me go near him. He acted like there was something wrong, and then he ran off. And 2 days later, my neighbor called and said that she had found him, and it looked like he had fallen from her roof. It was really sad for Jeremy. I buried him in my yard. Jeremy's here still, and it feels good to have him home where he belongs, even though it's a sad ending. Jeremy actually did have children, squirrel babies. One of the squirrels that lives in our yard, he actually mated with her, and so he has at least 4, if not more, babies that I know of. So it's nice that we can all see his kids grow up and watch them in the neighborhood, and they do have some of their dad's personality. Jeremy was very funny. He was very silly and quirky and cuddly, but he was also very protective of me. Anytime another squirrel would come to the door, he would like jump on me and chatter at them and chase them away. He didn't want any other squirrels being near me. He was very endearing, his personality. Everybody loved him.